Hello everyone! Today I will present a 2D motion analysis of the gait cycle during normal walking. Gait analysis is the study of human locomotion and walking patterns. In this presentation, I will explain the gait events and spatio-temporal parameters observed during normal gait. A gait cycle refers to the sequence of movement from one initial contact of a foot to the next initial contact of the same foot. The gait cycles consist of stand phase, which occupy approximately 16%, and swing phase, which occupy approximately 40% of the gait cycle. The walking video was recorded from the sagittal plane and rear oblique view from gait observation and analysis. The first gait event is initial contact. Initial contact occurs when the heel first touches the ground. It ends when the foot starts accepting body weight during the loading phase. So, the purpose of this phase is to position the limb from weight acceptance and prepare the body for stability during walking. The second gait event is loading response. This phase begins immediately after initial contact and continues until the opposite foot leaves the floor. During loading response, body weight is transferred onto the supporting limbs. Therefore, this phase is important for shock absorption, weight acceptance, and maintaining stability during forward progression. The third gait event is mid-stance. Mid-stance begins when the opposite foot leaves the ground and ends when the body weight is aligned directly over the supporting foot. During this phase, the body progresses forward over one stable limb while maintaining balance during single limb support. The fourth gait event is terminal stance. Terminal stance begins when the heel rises from the floor and it ends when the opposite foot makes initial contact with the ground. This phase helps generate forward propulsions for continual walking. The fifth gait event is pre-swing. The pre-swing begins when the opposite foot contacts the ground and ends with top off of the reference limb. This phase acts as the transition between the start phase and swing phase as body weight shifts to the opposite limb. The sixth gait event is the initial swing. Initial swing begins when the foot leaves the ground and ends when the swing limb is opposite to the start limb. The main purpose of this phase is to advance the limb forward safely without dragging the foot. The seventh gait event is mid-swing. Mid-swing starts at the end of initial swings and continues until the swinging limb moves in front of the body. This phase allows smooth advancement of the limb in preparations for the next step. The final gait event is terminal swing. Terminal swing begins at the end of mid-swing and ends when the foot contacts the floor during the next initial contact. This phase prepares the limb for the next gait cycle and completes limb advancement. Next, the spatio-temporal parameter of gait were measured. Step length refers to the distance between the initial contact of one foot and the initial contact of the opposite foot. The measured right step length is 55.6 centimeters, while the measured left step length is 56.1 centimeters. Street length refers to the distance between two consecutive heel contacts of the same foot. The measured street length is 111.7 centimeters. Walking speed is calculated by dividing walking distance by the time taken. In the information of the Strava app, the walking distance was 3,660 meters and the time taken was 2,827 seconds. Therefore, the walking speed is 1.29 meters per second. In conclusion, this presentation demonstrates the gait cycle using 2D motion analysis and successfully identified the gait events and spatio-temporal parameters. In occupational therapy practice, gait analysis is essential for understanding how mobility influences occupational performance. By identifying gait deviation and mobility limitation, occupational therapists can develop interventions that enhance safety, independence, and participation in everyday activities.